Hello, and welcome to Scarlet Serpent readings. Thank you so much for joining me for today's timeless pick a card reading, where we will be finding out who your dragon spirit guide is. So, just a little bit about, I guess, what they might look like. Of course, this is a collective reading, but the personality, kind of why they are close to you, why this particular dragon is close to you. And then we're also going to get a message about your current situation. So I have 3 piles for you, but I didn't choose any stones. I haven't looked at the cards, so for this one you could just kind of pick a number between 1 and 3, or however you intuitively choose a pile. You can go ahead and do so now. If you need some more time, of course, you can pause the video, and the timestamps are going to be in the description box below. So yeah, I'll see you at your reading. Hi, pile 1. Yeah, this is going to be your reading. We're just going to jump right into it. Let's take a look at who your dragon spirit guide is. Of course, I want to thank all of you who are subscribed and for your comments and support. I really appreciate it, and I really do love connecting with all of you. So I have a few oracle cards out. I just flipped them over, and this pile has 2 different dragons. So I'll show you what the dragons are. This is the lilac fire dragon and the omega dragon. And then we also have Angel Kaliel with sacred play. So I think one of these dragons doesn't really have a color. I mean, I guess color is relative in this case, but one of them kind of has, I was just going to show, kind of like labradorite or something like that, where if you turn the stone or the dragon moves in a certain direction, the color will change, that sort of thing. Definitely a lot of divine feminine energy, and I think both dragons together are saying to play, to let yourself go a little bit, to have fun, and that's where you'll get your creative inspiration. A lot of nurturing energy here, a lot of protection, especially with the lilac fire dragon, this one right here. And I think you might be one to work with the violet flame a lot, but I think even if you didn't, there's kind of like a natural, it's like a dragon beside you constantly clearing your energy on your behalf, even without you asking for it. It's constantly transmuting other people's energy. So if you find, and I mentioned this in a few different readings, but where people just come up to you for no good reason and they just start talking, or I think they're drawn to that violet fire that your dragon has and that's constantly near you. I just wanted to get a few more cards to get a look at the personality of these dragons. I guess because we have two in this pile, I'll do a couple cards. We have the Queen of Swords for the Omega Dragon and the Queen of Pentacles for the Lilac Fire Dragon. So that's really interesting. And I'll show you. So, as I said, definitely confirms that divine feminine energy that your dragons have. So both of them, I guess, would be considered female and very protective. This is very much white, a white dragon. And I think because the Omega Dragon has to do with creation and intention, so kind of this dragon would help you clear your mind and would telepathically communicate with you. If there's any doubt, or if you want to connect with this dragon, it's as simple as having a conversation and having clear focus. And the more you focus, I think the more attuned you would be to this that particular dragon. It's kind of like the white, not white dragon, no, it's more of a like a pearl sort of dragon. Oh no, I forgot to mention this. I'm just gonna say it now. This reading was inspired by Luminous by Chai. So, because she did a reading and she had envelopes and everything. I'll leave a link to her reading in the description because it was wonderful. I loved it. But anyway, and I guess I thought of her because I don't know, she kind of reminds me of that energy in a way. But we have mountains. So this dragon kind of brings a higher perspective, and again, is a dragon you tap into naturally if you channel, or if you write specifically. And I think this power of creation that you have is specifically geared towards written words or communication in that way. The other dragon, the violet purple dragon, would be more protection for you, for nurturing you. So this is a protective dragon. So you definitely have two dragons. One's for protection against people, and then the other one is more of, okay, now that you're protected, you don't have to exhaust mental energy with protection rituals, because that can be a thing. Like in meditation, there's this whole, you can do a whole bunch of visualizations. This dragon kind of, both of them together, kind of don't want you to worry too much. I mean, obviously, grounding and things like that could be helpful, but they would rather, during your meditation, that you focus on creation and communication as opposed to visualization, specifically with protection. So if you do something like white spheres of energy protection, they're saying it's always helpful to do, but it's not quite necessary all the time, because you have like a natural clearing energy around you. And I think I'm starting to notice there's one pile that has a really strong mind, a very intellectual pile, probably a lot of Aquarius or Gemini, specifically those two. Very strong air placements, or not even, but it's just like, even if you have one air sign but it's really powerful in your chart, and you have a very divine high perspective. And I get that with both of these. The queen, I don't know if you could see it, this queen is surrounded by mountains. Actually, there's mountains in both the queen cards, if you could see them. So a very high vantage point, and these dragons, when you connect with them, either consciously or unconsciously, you're connecting to a much higher perspective. And I think from up there, collectively, these two dragons are asking you to play more, because not just to nurture. Again, this is the lilac dragon saying to nurture yourself, take care of yourself in every way possible. But through nurturing this, you're also nurturing your ideas, and it's not selfish to nurture yourself. It's not selfish to nurture your ideas either, because those ideas, through this, this, especially written word, again, creation, like poetry or something like that, is something that helps a lot of people. And so to have the greatest impact, it's kind of like your homework to set some time for yourself and practice, like just automatic writing, or if you're reading or watching this, you probably have an interest in dragons, and you could set aside some time to have a dialogue. So we have soulmates, 5 of birds. This is the message, by the way. 5 of lotuses, 9 of birds. We'll leave it at 4, actually. For some people, not everyone, what you want to express is a bad relationship that you've had, something turbulent, or just in general with another person specifically, or other people. With the 2 5s, I'm getting reminded of like the path of Aries. So Aries has a pretty difficult journey. It goes through all the 5s. I think I'm gonna guess. I'm not gonna bother with the other cards. All the 5s. I don't remember if it was the Hierophant, but anyway. No, Temperance, definitely. But lots of turbulent energy that you've gone through, especially with the 9 of Swords being there too, 5 of Swords. I think think it's been very difficult for this pile. But first of all, the dragons are saying they've been with you the whole time. So even when you felt alone, I think the recognition of that came later on as you've changed. I think they're reminding you that through these experiences you've grown a lot, and you've grown in strength a lot, and I think that's why it's almost like at least the lilac dragon has gotten stronger with you. So and that's why they're saying, despite the 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Swords, things kind of falling apart for you at one point, and you might be tempted to put up walls and barriers. It's almost like the lilac dragon is a little more in your life in a way. It's a little more active, in protecting you from these experiences happening again. Because I think it's interesting. I think like the dragons realize. I'm seeing the mountains again, by the way. So I don't know if you want to hike in mountains or you have. Look at that scenery connecting here. So I'll talk about that in a sec, but definitely something with perspective. Like getting high up will trigger something. I think when you physically see things from a high vantage point, you feel more calm. And it's strange because like maybe some of you are afraid of heights, but you still are comfortable just seeing the whole world. It just feels very natural. This will be like people who in other readings resonated with like the bird pile. That sense of freedom. So maybe living in the 3D, like humanity has been difficult. Like it feels like a bit of a drag to undergo these sort of circumstances of a lot of heartbreak and deceit from others. And some of you might resonate with feeling like you don't have a soulmate. Like some of you, like of course general, but some of you might feel like your soulmate is in the other realm, in a different plane. So you might feel alone, but you do have your guides, and if they are in another plane, if they had passed, they are around you, definitely. Here it seems like you've been forcing this creation to happen sooner than it needs to, and it's kind of backfired in a way. So it's kind of like you're forcing a story even though you haven't really reached a certain level of maturity, and it's kind of like the dragons are saying that's not the case anymore. You've matured enough to now. It's like these troubling experiences and the difficulty that you faced emotionally. It's like the fuel for. So not only do you have the fuel, but you have the mind to express it as clearly and accurately as possible to anyone, to any audience. And I think naturally you will draw the audience to you because of what I mentioned earlier with the lilac fire dragons. Like people are drawn to your energy, or your dragons in this case. So you'll have an audience, and I think with these energies, five of cups, 5 of swords. I think I said pentacles earlier. Whoops. I keep saying pentacles. Maybe that's part of it. And maybe you felt as though it was a pentacles thing. Like you felt like you lost your home, like a physical structure. But in reality, it's like an emotional loss, and you kind of combine them together. These two, like this meant a lot to you, and this could be in the form of a person. You find yourself drowning at this point, or maybe in the past, but you survived that. You're able to move on, and you've become a lot stronger, and it might even seem dreamlike at this point, where the dream is a little hazy. It's kind of hard to recall the specific details, but you remember the feeling, the overall experience. But And I think this is what the lilac dragon is saying, I mean, maybe it is saying, of course, to use the violet flame to do those sort of cleansing rituals, but also that this dragon is doing that for you on your behalf anyway, so that you could focus more on the physical, nurturing, eating properly, and enjoying your own company. That's a big one. I think you've already done that with 2 queens being here. Even the 9 of birds is like a solitary card. And then the soulmates, I don't know, it just feels like you've learned to be alone, and that's given you a lot of strength, and I think your dragons commend you for that. So I'm gonna end the reading here. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, let me know what you think, how this resonates, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Take care. Hi Pile 2, and welcome to your reading. We're going to find out who your dragon spirit guide is, and I forgot to mention this in the intro, but this reading was influenced by Luminous by Chai, who did a reading on kind of meeting your dragon guide, so I'm going to have a link to her reading in the description. And I also want to say that this, I mean, if you were debating between pile 1 and 2, they're both, it seems so far, they're both extremely connected, and if you saw pile 1, you'll see why. So we have Goddess Saraswati with From Word to World and the Air Dragon. So these 2 cards are very, very connected. And again, if you came from the previous reading, this is essentially a continuation of that. So be mindful of your thoughts, and this dragon is helping you master your mind and raising your vibration through deliberate positive thinking. We do have the birds here, and I had mentioned birds a lot in the last pile, so this is more of that as well. A very light dragon. This would be also like the pile in the previous reading, or one of the other readings, where you enjoy wind, that sort of thing, where it kind of puts you to sleep when you're by the beach or something like that. And also you have a very elevated perspective, a very broad perspective, kind of like a hawk eye, where you could see a lot. And I think this dragon is trying to get you to express your perspective, to express, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable, just because it might sometimes feel far out or a little too out there or spacey, is that there is an audience for that. But let's get some additional tarot just to get more of a description. Okay, I'm gonna put these back because it's too much. But just to describe this, not this one. This one wanted to stay, and this is the Devil card. So this could be saying, let's clarify this before getting more cards. But it could be saying that you might restrict yourself through your words, like through sort of the patterns of thought that have been put upon you. And then we have the Queen of Cups. And I just want to mention the last reading we had 2 other queens, so a lot of feminine energy, even though the air dragon is associated with masculine energy. Saraswati is feminine, so it feels as though like you might limit yourself to what you think makes you happy. Like, would you, like, that's what I'm getting with this is there's hints of mermaid energy with this pile though, but you might catch yourself limiting what makes you happy, as opposed to flying freely and looking for and really opening yourself up to new avenues of happiness. But let's just get some more description from this dragon. Who is this dragon? Yeah, with the devil energy as a descriptor of your dragon, I would say it's more of a dragon who's helping you manifest and trying to put an emphasis on the connection between your mind and the 3D, and if you could bridge that gap between the thoughts that are recurring and your experience, I think you'll be in a good position to create. Then we have I call it the golden fool. So this is the fool after they've been on the journey of the tarot. So this is like the illuminated fool, we could say. Gold fool. And we'll notice the color palette is strikingly similar to goddess Saraswati. So that could be one goddess who you work with at a deep level, or you're being called to work with. I guess that ties to the wisdom that I had mentioned, that as far out as your ideas may seem, they're coming from a very divine place. They're coming from maybe a past life that you've had, or your dragon directly. But I think for a lot of you, a mission is to put the ideas down, to make physical your experience in some way. And then we have I was gonna say the 8 of Wands. So that's communication, Mercury, in Sag, but this is actually the Judgment card. So I got those mixed up. And you know what I'll notice? I'll put it like this. I'll do like this. It kind of looks like these connect in this way. You're holding the light and others will follow. That's why you can't be afraid to speak your mind and be the light for others. And I think maybe this devil card is referring to people around you, or humanity as a whole, kind of bound by trying to feel good all the time, to especially like through maybe drugs or just consumption in general. Overconsumption might limit people, and I think you have another way to. It's through your experience, through your creativity, that you can kind of enlighten people with a new form of consciousness. So it's like big, bold energy that you have, but you can't be afraid to share it, especially if it feels a bit out there. So let's get the message from your dragon. But I'll say that this dragon guide definitely has strong air placements. We have the orbs, which is strength. 7 of birds, which is 7 of swords. And the high priestess with swan. Let's get one more. And then 9 of wands. So 2 things. The 9 of wands and the orbs kind of mirror each other in a way. So this is kind of this creation that's trying to burst out of you. Especially with the orbs, it looks like a creative energy. So it might be, I imagine, like a, you know, like how Marvel created a cinematic universe, and it's like, it was the first one of those where movies came together and, you know, made a lot of money and all that, but something, not that, but something similar, where it's something completely brand new and all-encompassing, and it brings a lot of people together, I think. And I think if you're in a position where you feel like this pressure, I think that's just creative energy that's flowing within you. With the 7 of birds, it feels very different, the 7 of birds. So it's tying to this somehow. You might feel distant from people in general, like friends, family. Sometimes you just feel very far away because you see things from such a high perspective. And I don't know, problems can seem very small and insignificant to you just because you, again, know better in a way, especially with the High Priestess being here. The swan energy of moving gracefully just because there's a lot of wisdom within you, and I think this has to do with letting that out. And the air dragon is, well, I don't want to speak for the dragon too much, but I know the element air, like air elementals, I don't know what they're called. They're extremely talkative, like they don't shut up. And I don't know, that's like an energy you could tap into of like just write down. I think that's why I saw the 8 of Wands. If you have thoughts, just write them down. I think you get a lot of channeled inspiration, a lot of ideas, and it's just put them down, and then once you write them down, you could go back and organize them and make them somehow into reality. I think you almost, it's like the air dragon saying you almost have a responsibility to do something with all this divine inspiration, because you have a lot of it. You have a lot of that that wants to be manifest somehow in the 3D. And like I think I said it for the last pile, but it's a responsibility not just for your benefit to let this energy move through you, which if you feel blocked in some way, it's just that you're preventing this energy from getting out. But it's not just for you and your well-being, it's also because people around you, the world needs to see that divinely inspired wisdom. So hopefully you enjoyed this reading. Please let me know in the comments, like, subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Take care. Hi Pile 3, welcome to your reading. Let's find out who your dragon spirit guide is. And before I get into that, I wanted to give a shout out to Luminous by Chai, who really inspired this reading because she had a similar reading on her channel. So I'm going to have a link to that in the description. And yeah, this is the water pile. There's an air pile, and this is the water pile with the water dragon. So you could be very connected to water in some way. It says easily maneuvers through obstacles. This is also a very feminine pile in terms of their energy. So we have Divine Alchemy with Ascended Master Mary Magdalene and Aqua Aura Quartz. So blue, it's probably a really strong color for you. Very receptive, very healing energy here that we have from your dragon spirit. Yeah, definitely a water dragon or something aquatic you could be connected to, like mermaids or something like that. But calming energy is what I'm getting from this dragon, and it could also inspire creativity, and in this case balance. We do have a green here, some earth energy too, but I'm getting more as being at peace, and with the Divine Alchemy, I guess these two go together. Balancing opposite energies together, maybe mediating between people and forces that don't necessarily get along. So if you find yourself in the middle of those sort of circumstances, that's probably why you're like a natural alchemist, or you, at least have the potential to be. With this water dragon, with this it says water dragon, and there is an earth and water dragon card on there, but I'm kind of getting a hint of earth too. It's like if there's such a thing as a water fairy. Wow. So we also have temperance here, and you'll notice with the cups, and this is an alchemical card, so there's a lot of very strong alchemical energy here, very strong mixing and blending. Maybe if there was a bartender in here, it kind of mix in with that. mixing, or you could be like a chef where you like to make new flavors, candle making, or scented oils, where you create something on your own that's new based off of two different things. So this is a strong alchemy pile, and I think your dragon is around you, kind of influencing you to keep making things and playing with opposing ideas. You have the Ace of Pentacles and the Justice card. Look at the scales of balance. Balance is everything for this pile, I'll say. And you're doing it not only with water, but with your mind too, and being fair. Justice card, and as I said, probably mediating between different people. You could see you kind of like in an argument or debate, people want to get your opinion. They might get annoyed with you because you always see how both sides are right and wrong at the same time. And even within the cards, the color palettes, and this is how they came out too. So, right, green and yellow. So naturally, you're blending these two energies. And I think your dragon would be good at that, just because being a water dragon, it naturally just likes playing. I think this is tied to, in a way, of playing with different elements, with different types of water. Or if you're someone who's picked up wet sand, and just kind of like, I don't know, you could play with sand or something like that. That would be something that's natural to you. And I think that's a way towards additional. This card has been trying to come out the whole time. Like, since I pre-shuffle, I like clear the deck, and I shuffle a lot, and this card's been dying to come out. So this is the Maze card. There are a lot of different ways towards your ideal path, to your ideal way of living. And I think that's also why this water dragon is here. It says helps you navigate easily around obstacles. So if you might, some of you might struggle with life purpose, or where you want to go next, or your next phase of your life. This dragon is kind of whispering that there are a lot of different paths that you can take, but the key would be to balance different things that you want to do, different versions of yourself together. So if you are very active, but you want to be inside, blending these different standards that you have, or different people, but there's blending is the key for you. Blending and being balanced. And we have the shore. I don't know what card that is, sorry. We also see water kind of covering the sky, which is like a celestial void. So here, it's kind of like, if you want guidance on the direction to take, following your heart is the way to go. But also there's many paths, to take on your personal life quest. But these are two really powerful energies. So I think this pile is going through something big. It's kind of like a new phase of your life. It's almost like you don't want things to be too calm or chaotic, but it's like sometimes chaos pushes you to take action, and you might enjoy it, and I wouldn't be surprised if sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, or maybe in the past, you've created drama just to have drama, just so that you could have clarity, in a way, I don't know. this pile would probably be the one to, like, if there was a fire in a building and everyone's just running in circles, bumping into walls, you'd be the one to just be like, the door's right there, let's get out, you know, very clear-minded. And it's like you get clearer when there's more conflict. It's like things become more obvious the more chaotic the world around you is. So if you find yourself in that situation, it's kind of like an opportunity to find a clear path. We have the bridge. Wow. So there is a sense of mediumship here. And the peacock, which is the Empress. So you got all major arcanas for the message from your dragon. So this is a huge... this is really big energy that you have next to you, around you, and you're going through a big phase of your life. And I think the reason why this is water, I guess, like the card suggests, is like to kind of navigate and allow for sometimes rip currents to destroy like sand castles. And you're like, oh no, but I just built that. It's like, oh, there's a reason why it's being knocked over. It probably wasn't built far enough away from the water, or it wasn't built properly. And so it's like the universe is pushing you, creating situations that might come across as difficult, but it's doing so that you could find more options, that you could create your own bridge into, and this bridge is leading directly to this door, you know, door to a new phase in your life that you've been looking for, or a different reality altogether. You could be, especially with all the water and divine alchemy, you could be very connected to the spirit plane. And again, with, I don't know, there's strong mediumship here with the bridge, so you could in some way be a messenger. And I think that might be why, especially with the Justice card being here, and almost like the Six of Pentacles looks like they would be doing like a mediumship circle in a way. So that could be something you're drawn to, and that might be kind of confirmation that that's a path for you to take. But otherwise, it's kind of like this water dragon is guiding you through times that, again, might be turbulent, but are really leading you towards finding your strength and towards your true life purpose. And I was gonna say, you have what it takes, and there is a lesson to be learned from both of those extremes. When things are very chaotic and it's like the tower keeps happening, and then also when it's the star. Oh, this might be the star. Whoops, I don't know. Kind of looks like the star now. No, it's Temperance. But I guess I saw that because you have big dreams and you're not really sure how to get there, and it's really integrating all aspects of your experience. It's like becoming sometimes a colder part of you, but it's necessary just to deal with difficult situations. And it might be uncomfortable to kind of wield the sword sometimes, but it is necessary, and it's a part of you that can lead you through not just yourself, but lead others through big changes. Again, I feel like you thrive through changes, and it's like I get like the Four of Cups energy when things are a bit too easy and routine and calm. It's like a little irritated. I need something to happen. So and I think this water dragon likes dancing. So if you like dancing, I think your dragon, if you want the dragon to be near you, it's probably dancing around you or with you. And I think this dragon isn't very big, but it has a lot of energy. So Anyway, I'm gonna end the reading with that. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe. Let me know what you thought, how the reading resonates, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Take care.